In the weeks since Washington Democrats made Vice President Harris their nominee, the American people have had their hands full trying to figure out where her campaign stands on the issues on the top of their minds. They've got serious questions about her role in everything from the runaway spending that gave them the worst inflation in 40 years to the open borders policies that invited the worst humanitarian and security crisis the southern border has ever seen. Thus far, haven't received many answers. The problem is not that the Vice President doesn't have a record. She campaigned for president once before, worked hand in hand with President Biden for 4 years since. Instead, the problem is that on issue after issue, Vice President Harris has, at one time or another, played both sides. Well, working families want to know this time what side she's on. Take energy policy. Back in 2019, then Senator Harris went on record saying, quote, "There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fast forward, after 4 years of undermining exploration for abundant American energy, the Harris campaign says her policies as president would be different. During her time in the Senate, our former colleague co-sponsored the Zero Emission Vehicles Act, a bill that would require car manufacturers to sell only zero-emission vehicles after 2040. These days, her campaign avoids getting pinned down about whether she would seek an electric vehicle mandate. Then, Senator Harris also went on record in support of the Green New Deal, including its make-work programs and job guarantees. These days, as the Biden-Harris war on American energy rages on, the Harris campaign conveniently reveals that she no longer supports this resolution. And apparently, there's no policy too small for the campaign to walk back. Not even the Vice President's stated support for, get this, a federal ban on plastic straws. According to the campaign, that's been reversed as well. Well, micromanaging fountain drinks is one thing, but as millions of Americans contend with the business end of the Biden-Harris climate and economic agenda, they ought to know precisely where the Democratic Party nominee stands. Policies matter. They can quite literally be the difference between affording gas and groceries and going without. Voters are fed up with flip-flops, and the Vice President ought to come clean. Now, on another matter, I've noted frequently that America's resolve and willingness to lead are being tested by a dangerous world. How we respond has everything to do with preserving the peace, prosperity, and security America and our allies have enjoyed for decades. Today, I want to talk about how the free and uninterrupted flow of goods, people, and ideas has fueled American prosperity. We all know that trade is important for American workers and American jobs. But the benefits of trade run far deeper than exports of American-made goods, services, ideas, and values. Trade is a two-way street. When we engage in the global market, we open our own doors to new sources of economic strength, to lower prices and more choices, and to good-paying jobs from foreign companies that set up shop here at home. For 12 straight years, America has been the top destination for foreign business to invest their capital investments that do a lot of good in big and small towns alike. Let's take a look at Kentucky, for example. The Toyota plant in Georgetown, the Japanese automaker, has invested billions in our economy. Today, it supports nearly 10,000 jobs in central Kentucky. In Carroll County, a Spanish-owned steel manufacturer supports nearly 1,600 more manufacturing jobs, and it's getting even bigger. Just this year, the company announced a new $250 million investment. So head west to Owensboro, where close to 500 jobs are on the way, thanks to a Swedish manufacturer that invested hundreds of millions into the Kentucky-based production plant. So in Kentucky alone, just looking at my state, businesses from 33 foreign nations support over 116,000 jobs. These jobs aren't just benefiting the biggest cities. Roughly 60% of all of our counties in Kentucky are home to at least one international business. Now, I've highlighted just a few examples in my home state, but these aren't anomalies. They speak to a situation true all across our country. Foreign investment benefits American workers and American communities. But it doesn't happen on its own. Foreign businesses invest in America because they know they can count on our commitment to free markets and free enterprise, and on our rule of law. Turning our backs on the world means signaling that we're closed for business. It means dulling the magnet of foreign direct investment that draws capital from all over the world to our shores. When our leaders throw up barriers to foreign investment from friends and allies, they risk hurting the very communities they intend to protect. Unfortunately, that's precisely what some loud voices are urging our leaders to do. And if they succeed, our economy will be worse for it. To be absolutely clear, this isn't an appeal to native globalism of the 1990s. Trade is not a cure-all for the serious challenges of global competition with China and Russia. But if our adversaries' predatory trading practice and exploitation of institutions tell us anything, it's that leaving a vacuum in global markets is an invitation for further misbehavior. Working closer with like-minded friends and allies to preserve free and fair trade and to protect critical supply chains is essential to both our security and our prosperity. When friends and allies invest in the U.S. economy, and likewise when American companies invest in theirs, we drive growth, boost paychecks, and increase American-made exports. It's good news for Kentucky and for workers and job creators all across America.